Hey there! Remember when getting out of bed didn't make that interesting symphony of creaks and pops? Well, I sure do, and let me tell you something. I've found a way to get some of that springy feeling back, even now in my 70s. You're probably thinking, oh great, another fitness guru telling me to run marathons or do those impossible yoga poses. Nope, not today. I'm just like you. Someone who's been around the block a few times and whose knees remind me of it every morning. But what if I told you that just 5 simple exercises could help you feel years younger? Not just physically, but mentally too. Would you believe me? Well, stick around, because I'm going to show you exactly how I went from barely getting up from my favorite armchair to feeling better than I have in 20 years. And the best part? You can do all of these in your own living room. No fancy equipment needed. These aren't just random movements. They're 5 powerful exercises specifically designed for our bodies, our joints, and our unique needs. So grab a glass of water and let's turn back the clock together, shall we? Now, before we dive in, I want to be perfectly clear about something. I'm not promising miracle cures or that you'll suddenly look like you're 30 again. That ship has sailed for all of us, and honestly, would we really want to go back? What I am promising is that with consistency and patience, these exercises can help you feel more energetic, more balanced, and more confident in your movement. And that, my friends, is worth its weight in gold. So, why am I sharing this with you today? Well, about 3 years ago, after my 67th birthday, I realized I was starting to say no to things I used to enjoy. No to playing with my grandkids at the park. No to dancing at my niece's wedding. No to that garden project I'd been dreaming about. All because my body felt like it was betraying me. Does that sound familiar to anyone? I decided right then and there that I wasn't going to let aging define what I could and couldn't do. I consulted with my doctor and a physical therapist who specializes in senior fitness, and together we developed this routine that has honestly changed my life. Now, before we get started, I need you to promise me something. Promise that you'll check with your doctor before trying any new exercise program. Everyone's body is different, and what works wonderfully for me might not be right for you, especially if you have specific health conditions. Got it? Great! Let's get moving then. The first exercise is what I like to call the confident chair stand. Now, you might be thinking, standing up from a chair? That's hardly a workout. But trust me, when done correctly and with intention, this simple movement can transform your lower body strength, which is crucial for maintaining independence. Find a sturdy chair with armrests if you need them. Sit toward the edge of the seat with your feet flat on the floor, slightly wider than hip width apart. Your knees should be bent at about 90 degrees. Now, lean slightly forward from your hips, keeping your back straight, not hunched. Here's the important part. Engage your abdominal muscles by gently pulling your navel toward your spine. This activates your core, which is essential for stability. Now, press your heels into the floor and slowly stand up, using your arms for support if needed, but trying to rely primarily on your leg muscles. Once you're fully standing, pull your shoulders back gently and stand tall. Hold this position for a full breath, in through your nose and out through your mouth. Then, with control, Slowly lower yourself back to the chair. That's 1 repetition. When I started, I could only do 5 of these before my legs felt like jelly. Now I'm up to 15 twice a day. The key is to start where you are and gradually build up. This exercise strengthens your quadriceps, hamstrings, and glutes, all essential for climbing stairs, getting in and out of cars, and maintaining your balance. I've noticed that many of us tend to use momentum rather than muscle strength to stand up as we age. We sort of rock forward and push off with our hands. While that's a perfectly fine adaptation if you need it, practicing the confident chair stand helps rebuild the strength to rise with control and dignity. And let me tell you, there's something deeply satisfying about standing up smoothly from a low couch when visiting your grandchildren instead of needing a helping hand. Now, speaking of balance, our second exercise is what my physical therapist calls the tree root. Balance is something many of us struggle with as we age, and falls can have serious consequences. This simple exercise helps strengthen the small stabilizing muscles in your ankles and feet that keep you steady. Stand behind a sturdy chair or counter, holding on with both hands. Now, shift your weight to your left foot and slowly raise your right foot just a few inches off the ground. Hold it there for 5 seconds if you're just starting out. Focus on a spot on the wall in front of you to help maintain your balance. Then gently return your foot to the ground and repeat with the left foot. As you get stronger, you can challenge yourself by holding on to the chair with just one hand, then eventually just a fingertip, and finally trying it without holding on at all. The goal is to work up to holding each foot up for 30 seconds. For an extra challenge, once you've mastered the basic form, try doing small knee raises instead of just lifting your foot. The tree root exercise strengthens those often neglected stabilizing muscles and improves your proprioception, your body's awareness of where it is in space. It's like giving your balance system a tune-up. I remember when I first started practicing this one, I was wobbling all over the place and couldn't go more than a few seconds without grabbing the chair for dear life. Now, I can stand on one foot while brushing my teeth. That might not sound impressive to a teenager, but for us, it's quite an achievement, and the practical benefits are tremendous. Being able to stand steadily while putting on pants or shoes, walking confidently on slightly uneven ground, or catching yourself if you stumble. These small victories add up to a much more confident, active lifestyle. Our third exercise targets the upper body and is something I call the wall push away. Many traditional upper body exercises like push-ups can be too challenging or hard on the joints for seniors. This modification gives you similar benefits without the strain. Stand facing a wall, about arm's length away. Place your palms flat against the wall at shoulder height and shoulder width apart. Your feet should be planted firmly on the ground. Now, slowly bend your elbows to bring your body toward the wall in a controlled motion, keeping your back straight and your core engaged. Think of it as a standing push-up against the wall, then push back to the starting position. Start with 5 to 10 repetitions and build up from there. This exercise strengthens your chest, shoulders, and arms, all essential for everyday activities like pushing a shopping cart, opening stubborn jars, carrying groceries, or playing with grandchildren. I do these while my coffee brews in the morning, multitasking at its finest. The beautiful thing about the wall push-away is that you can easily adjust the difficulty. If it's too easy, simply move your feet further from the wall. If it's too challenging, move closer. When I first started, I was pretty close to the wall, but now I've moved back considerably, and I can feel how much stronger my upper body has become. My daughter noticed it too when I helped her move some boxes last month. She commented on how much easier it seemed for me compared to the last time I helped her. Those kinds of observations really keep me motivated. Now for our fourth exercise, which addresses an area many of us struggle with: core strength and spinal flexibility. I call this one the seated twist. Sit toward the edge of a sturdy chair with your feet flat on the floor, hip width apart. Sit tall, imagining a string pulling you up from the crown of your head. Place your hands on your shoulders, elbows out to the sides. Now, inhale deeply, and as you exhale, gently rotate your upper body to the right, keeping your hips facing forward. Hold for a breath, then return to center as you inhale. Exhale and rotate to the left. That's one complete repetition. Start with 5 repetitions and gradually increase to 10. This exercise helps maintain and improve the rotational mobility of your spine, which is essential for everyday movements like turning to back up the car, reaching for something behind you, or simply turning to chat with a friend who's walking beside you. It also engages your obliques, the muscles along the sides of your abdomen, which provide stability and contribute to better posture. I've found that this seated twist has helped tremendously with my lower back pain. Before I started doing these regularly, I would often wake up with a stiff, achy back that took hours to loosen up. Now, I still have some occasional morning stiffness, but it's significantly reduced. Plus, being able to turn and look over my shoulder more easily has made driving much safer and more comfortable. These small improvements have a ripple effect on overall quality of life. When movement is easier and less painful, you naturally want to do more of it. Our fifth and final exercise is perhaps my favorite because it combines strength, balance, and flexibility all in one movement. I call it the horizon reach. Stand tall with your feet hip width apart, behind a sturdy chair or counter for support if needed. Extend your arms out to the sides at shoulder height, palms facing down. Keeping your back straight and your core engaged. Slowly bend to the right, reaching your right hand down toward your knee, while your left arm reaches up toward the ceiling. Only go as far as is comfortable. You should feel a gentle stretch along your left side, but no pain. Hold for a breath, then return to center and repeat on the other side. That's 1 repetition. Start with 5 repetitions and build up to 10. The horizon reach improves lateral flexibility, the ability to bend side to side, which is crucial for many daily activities, like reaching for items on shelves, picking things up from the floor, or getting in and out of cars. It also strengthens the often neglected muscles along the sides of your body and improves stability. When I started doing this exercise, I noticed that simple tasks like reaching into cabinets or bending to pick up something I dropped became noticeably easier. That's the kind of functional improvement that makes a real difference in daily living. Now, you might be wondering how to put all these exercises together into a routine. Here's what works for me. I do this 5-exercise circuit every morning after breakfast and again in the late afternoon. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes total, which is very manageable. I start with 5 to 10 repetitions of each exercise. Take a short break, then repeat the circuit once more. As I've gotten stronger, I've gradually increased the repetitions and added a third circuit. But remember, this isn't a race or a competition. The goal is consistent, sustainable movement that leaves you feeling energized, not exhausted. Let me share something important that I've learned on this journey. Progress isn't always linear. Some days you might feel stronger and more flexible than others. That's completely normal and true for exercisers of all ages. Maybe you didn't sleep well, or perhaps the weather is affecting your joints. On those days, be gentle with yourself. Do what you can, even if it's just a few repetitions of each exercise at a lower intensity. Consistency over time is far more important than pushing yourself too hard on any single day. I remember one week when I was fighting a minor cold and my energy was low. Instead of skipping my exercises entirely, I just did one circuit at a reduced intensity. Did it feel like I was taking a step backward? Sure, but maintaining the habit was more important than the specific workout, and within a few days I was back to my regular routine. That's the kind of adaptive thinking that leads to long-term success. Now, let's talk about progression. Once these 5 exercises start to feel easier, and they will, I promise, how do you continue challenging yourself? For the confident chair stand, try using a lower chair or even removing the chair completely and doing gentle squats. For the tree root balance exercise, try closing your eyes briefly or adding small arm movements while balancing. For the wall push away, move your feet further from the wall or try using a countertop that's lower than chest height. For the seated twist, try holding the position longer or adding a gentle reach. And for the horizon reach, gradually increase your range of motion or hold a very light weight, like a soup can, in each hand. Remember, though, that any changes should be gradual and always within your comfort zone. If something causes pain, not just the normal feeling of working your muscles, but actual pain, back off immediately. The goal is progress, not perfection. Let me share a bit about how these exercises have changed my life, beyond just the physical benefits. When I started this journey, I was mainly focused on being able to move without pain and maintain my independence. What I didn't expect were the psychological benefits. There's something incredibly empowering about feeling your body respond to consistent effort, about knowing that you're not powerless against the aging process. Yes, we're all getting older, but we have more control over how we age than many people realize. I've also found that my improved strength and balance have made me more confident in trying new activities. Last year, I joined a senior water aerobics class, something I never would have considered before. The social connections I've made there have been just as valuable as the physical activity. And recently, I've started exploring Tai Chi, which complements these 5 basic exercises beautifully. The point is, once you start moving more, a world of possibilities opens up. Another unexpected benefit has been better sleep. I used to struggle with insomnia, often lying awake for hours or waking up multiple times during the night. Since I've been doing these exercises regularly, I've noticed that I fall asleep more quickly and sleep more soundly. There's solid scientific evidence for the connection between regular physical activity and improved sleep quality, but experiencing it firsthand has been remarkable. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. I have arthritis, or I have a bad knee, or I've had a hip replacement. I hear you, and I have some arthritis in my hands and knees myself. That's why these exercises are designed to be gentle and adaptable. For example, if the wall push-away bothers your wrists, you can make a fist instead of placing your palms flat on the wall. If the horizon reach is too challenging for your balance, you can do it seated instead of standing. There are modifications for almost every exercise. The key is to work with your body, not against it. It's also worth mentioning that proper breathing is a crucial component of these exercises. Try to breathe deeply and rhythmically throughout each movement. Generally, you'll want to inhale during the preparation phase and exhale during the exertion phase of each exercise. For example, with the confident chair stand, inhale as you prepare to stand and exhale as you rise from the chair. Proper breathing not only makes the exercises more effective, but also helps with relaxation and focus. Let's talk a bit about how to incorporate these exercises into your day in a way that's sustainable. I find that attaching them to existing habits works well, what some people call habit stacking. For example, I do my morning session right after breakfast while the morning news is on, and my afternoon session just before starting dinner preparations. Finding these natural anchors in your daily routine makes it much easier to remember and stick with your exercise plan. Another strategy that's worked well for me is keeping a simple exercise journal. Nothing fancy, just a calendar where I mark off each day that I complete my routine. There's something satisfying about seeing those check marks add up, and it helps me stay accountable to myself. On days when motivation is low, looking back at how consistent I've been can provide that extra push to get moving. I also think it's important to celebrate your progress, no matter how small it might seem. Maybe you've gone from needing to use the armrests when doing the confident chair stand to being able to stand up using just your leg strength. Or perhaps you've increased from holding your balance for 10 seconds to 20 seconds in the tree root exercise. These improvements are significant and worth acknowledging. I like to treat myself to something special, maybe a new plant for my garden or a movie night with friends when I reach a milestone in my fitness journey. Speaking of friends, having a workout buddy can be incredibly motivating. My neighbor and I do these exercises together twice a week, and we've turned it into a social occasion with tea and conversation afterward. On the days we meet, I never even consider skipping my routine because I know she's counting on me and I wouldn't want to let her down. If you don't have someone who can join you in person, consider setting up a regular phone call with a friend where you both commit to doing your exercises during the conversation. Now, what about timing? How quickly should you expect to see results? In my experience, some benefits appear quite quickly. Within a few weeks, I noticed improvements in my energy levels and mood. The physical changes took a bit longer. After about 6 weeks of consistent practice, I found that getting up from low chairs was noticeably easier, and my balance had improved. After 3 months, friends and family started commenting on how much more easily I was moving. The key word here is consistent. Doing these exercises irregularly won't yield the same results. It's also worth mentioning that nutrition plays a vital role in supporting your exercise efforts. Our bodies need adequate protein to maintain and build muscle, especially as we age. I'm not suggesting any radical diet changes, but being mindful of including protein-rich foods at each meal has made a difference in my energy levels and recovery. Foods like eggs, Greek yogurt, lean meats, fish, beans, and nuts are all excellent sources. And don't forget about staying well hydrated. Water is essential for every cellular process in our bodies, including muscle function. Another aspect that's easy to overlook is the importance of rest and recovery. As we age, our bodies need more time to recover from physical activity. That's why I don't do these exercises every single day. I take at least one rest day per week, usually Sunday, when I might go for a gentle walk instead. Listen to your body and give it the rest it needs. Recovery isn't laziness. It's an essential part of any effective exercise program. I want to address something else that I think holds many of us back from starting an exercise program. Fear. Fear of looking foolish, fear of failure, fear of injury. These are all valid concerns, but they shouldn't stop you from taking those first steps toward better health. Start slowly, be patient with yourself, and remember that everyone, yes, everyone, feels awkward when learning something new. As for the fear of injury, that's exactly why these exercises are designed to be gentle and adaptable. Using proper form and respecting your body's limits will go a long way toward preventing injuries. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final thought. It's never too late to start. I've met people in their 80s and even 90s who have begun exercise programs and seen significant improvements in their strength, balance, and overall quality of life. The human body is remarkably resilient and responsive to positive change, no matter your age. So whether you're 60, 70, 80, or beyond, you can benefit from these 5 simple exercises.